All right, today it's kind of cold in here, so we're bringing the blanket. Good morning, you guys. What is up? Welcome to another video. It has been a long time since we have filmed a sit down video. I have not chatted with you guys in so long because I was just in survival mode. So I went on my Instagram and asked you guys to submit some questions so that I can sit here and answer them all. And you had some really good questions. And I'm drinking my tea because we're trying to up our hydration. Hopefully I don't spill this. Okay, our first question. I feel like this is a good intro. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I feel like I have grown so much over the past couple years to be able to get to this point where I am right now, where I'm able to balance my schedule so well, if you could say. I've survived most of the winter, which is my hard season because I'm coaching so much and I'm at the mountain and there's just a lot going on that you're trying to balance all at once. So looking back on like how smoothly that went for how crazy it could have gone, I'm very proud of myself. There was one year at U of O where my friends like later told me that I was just like a stress case through ski season and I was kind of miserable to hang out with. As soon as they have like told me that, in subsequent years I have like really focused on taking care of myself and making sure that I never approach that, and I'm just like chill, go with the flow. I'm the one who signed up for this schedule, so I try not to overly complain about it, and I just kind of have this like make it happen attitude because that's what you have to do. Definitely not sitting here like, oh, I have absolutely no stress on my mind. Like there's a lot I've been thinking about in regards to the future, so that has been on my mind, but at the same time I've made an active effort to just enjoy the present because you're only in nursing school once and I'm trying to soak it all in. I literally have like less than 6 months left. That kind of leads into this next question, which is best tips for balancing aspects of life: school, sports, works, friends, etc. My best tip, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the to-do list life. I have my weekly one out. Let's see if I can get this without spilling this tea on my bed. Okay, so basically this is how we survive. I've been doing this since I was in high school with the same like to-do list stuff. I have the knock knock pad. I'll link these down below if you guys are interested in shopping them. I always have like my organizational planning stuff in my description box. Sometimes I also work ahead as I start to fill up next week's schedule. I just put like the main things that must be done, like appointments, classes, places that I have to be on this thing, and then I will fill in the empty spaces with just different things that I choose to get done that day. And then this is more of like my daily to-do list with a bunch of different lines, and I can put dumb stuff like shower, eat, because that stuff's important, and if you don't put it on your list, you will not prioritize that, and you have to take care of your body first if you're going to be able to balance such a crazy schedule. Sometimes I'm not perfect. Sometimes there's like one thing that doesn't get crossed off on the list or a couple things, and that gets carried on to the next day. My other piece of advice is don't let your hard schedule just cause you to be the person that never reaches out to others, because people are just going to be like, oh, that's the girl that's busy. They're never going to text her to hang out. You still want to put effort into your relationships with your friends. So go ahead on a Sunday, be like, what's your schedule this week? When can we hang out? Figure out a way to make it work. Even if it's something simple like meeting up with someone over a meal because you know you have to eat anyway, you'll make it work. Know when it's okay to say no to something. Like you cannot possibly say yes to everything. There's just that balance, but you have to know yourself to be the best version of yourself. Then you can make decisions on an everyday basis, big or small, that are going to help support where you want to go. I hope that made sense. Where did my phone go? Okay, we found the phone. Am I excited to finish school? I'm excited for that point in my life because I know I've worked so hard for it. I finally get to graduate because I never really got to have that graduation experience, and I'm really excited to not have to do like little dumb homework assignments. Like that stuff just really gets on my nerves, the little busy work stuff. Obviously I'll have to study for the NCLEX. It won't be just over right when I graduate, but I am excited to finish school, and I'm trying to make some things happen so that I have some things to look forward to and actually celebrate that time in my life. What are your favorite TV shows and movies right now? Right now, I have not been watching a lot of TV, but I do watch This Is Us, Grey's Anatomy, and I have been watching The Dropout on Hulu about the whole Theranos story. I watch more documentaries when I have time, and I try to keep up with my YouTube subscriptions, so I just am not watching a lot of TV. Oh, I watched King Richard. I'm super into tennis, and it got me on this like tennis kick, and I'm literally obsessed with Serena and Venus Williams and want to become some sort of like tennis pro. I don't really have time to become a pro, but I have gotten really into tennis from them, so I've been watching like a lot of YouTube stuff about tennis. What part about being an RN are you the most scared for? That's a really good question. I'm gonna look back on this and literally laugh at myself because this stuff is kind of dumb, but I'm really nervous for spelling in the hospital, like spelling meds, and just really want to be cautious of like making a med error because I know that my spelling is so bad. And to me right now, like a med pass seems really complicated, like having to pass more than like 2 or 3 meds just seems like the most overwhelming task ever. Next week I'm gonna be in the hospital starting clinicals, and that probably won't be scary to me anymore because I'm gonna just start doing it a bunch. And I just hope that I end up on a good unit. How do you deal with burnout from school? A lot of days where I just don't enjoy it, but I want to. I feel this so hard because this is like, I don't know, 18 years of schooling or something. I've been in school for a long time and I have not had pretty much any break besides I had 1 semester off. Burnout is real. Honestly, my best piece of advice is to fill yourself up in other ways that bring you joy. Like, it's okay if you're not that student that's going the extra mile above and beyond during this time in your life. Like, I really feel like throughout my whole entire school education, my love and obsession of school has kind of ebbed and flowed. It's like everything in life. You're gonna have a peak time, and then you're gonna have a time where you're just like, things aren't going well for you. Maybe you had a bad test that sent you into this time. Give yourself grace and figure out ways to re-inspire yourself. Maybe that's figuring out a new friend that you can go to a coffee shop and study with. Maybe that's even changing your study location. Maybe that's figuring out ways to reward yourself more. You're starting a new TV show, you're gonna get your work done first, then you're gonna watch the show. It doesn't need to be complicated, it can be small things. For me, also, like, reading a new book is really inspiring to me because I'm obsessed with reading stuff in the medical field. So that'll like re-inspire my goals. In terms of like generic school classes that aren't maybe as focused or applicable to your career in the future, just get it done. Try your best. Use that satisfaction that you feel when you did do well in a test as your motivation to work hard, or use the reality of you not getting the grades that you wish you had as motivation to put in a little bit more work or change something in your study routine. When you're experiencing burnout, you have to make a change and be self-reflective. Otherwise, you're just gonna get stuck in this cycle and be unhappy. Just know it will get better because you're not gonna be in school for the rest of your life, and there's gonna be other aspects in life that are way less exciting. And although you're complaining about having to do like dumb homework assignments, there's stuff in the real world that I'm like, I would do anything to do a dumb homework assignment or a quiz over like having to do this activity. I know it's rough. I'm very proud of you for sticking it out. Stuff that you can't live without in nursing school, you guys should go watch my What's in My Backpack video because a lot of it is stuff that I can't live without. But in terms of like a more general thing, I cannot live without my sleep and I cannot live without food. I must be well fueled and I must have at least 6-7 hours of sleep, ideally 8, to be able to be functioning. Those are things that are important to me and I have prioritized them throughout nursing school. I'd rather go to sleep and just trust myself to figure it out on the test and make an educated guess rather than being like 3 hours of sleep and feeling like I'm on my deathbed. After you graduate, are you planning on moving out of Portland? The answer is no, I am not planning on moving out of Portland. I am honestly kind of a little bit done moving for a bit. I'm not even still fully moved into this place. So you guys know I'm really ready to be like fully settled. I love Portland. I love the people here. I have my friends here, my family here. I love coaching here. So there's a lot of things tying me to Portland. Although many people my age think that they will become a better version of themselves by leaving, which for some people that's great. Like, it's just not a me thing. I feel like I know myself well. I'm happy here. Like, why would I want to leave? That's my plan. I plan on staying here unless something like really drastic changes and I get some crazy opportunity that's too good to pass up. Never say never. Advice to adjusting on being in an accelerated grad program. You are about to start mine for SLP. Is that speech pathology? I'm not sure. Congratulations. My advice on adjusting is try to figure out ways to keep up your old routine, your old life while you're in school. It's not gonna be perfect and there's gonna be some weeks that aren't as good as the next, but if you have things in your life that you look forward to, keep doing them in school. Everyone talks about accelerated programs like they're some impossible feat and you can't have a job at all and you just have to literally study 40 hours a week, but I don't believe that's necessarily true. Maybe if you're in med school, because that's like a lot of intense information. From my experience in my program, it's very possible to still prioritize things you love. You just have to put the time in to do that, and there's gonna be less lazy days because every day is gonna be a productive day and every day you're gonna do a little bit of studying. You can definitely make it happen, and you don't wanna be like halfway through your program and realize you're really unhappy because you left the life that you loved behind. That's gonna make you resent your choices. Please, please, please keep doing things you love, prioritizing being with people you care about, working out, eating getting right, making good decisions. I feel like that's like the theme of this video, but it has helped me so much. Although nursing is difficult, all of my pillars are standing. So if the nursing pillar is crumbling because there's a lot going on in that part of my life, I can stand on the other pillars. Oh, this question I feel like I've been avoiding. Yeah, but we're gonna answer it. How have you been liking your new apartment? I think it's okay. It's so hard because I just compare it to my old apartment. Although this location is better, it's more convenient in terms of me getting to school. I'm closer to my friends. I like the location and I like the building. I don't love my apartment unit, and maybe it's because it's not like fully decorated and done, so I'm trying to like not make a decision about it, but there's definitely some things I don't like about it, and the old place was just done so perfectly. It's hard for me to fall in love with this one because like, I'm forcing myself to like it, but it's not like a natural love of the place. There's definitely been some like weird things kind of going on in my building too that are frustrating. I mean, that's just like apartment complex living. There's always little things. Now that I live alone, it's like I don't get annoyed at my roommates because I'm my own roommate, but I definitely get annoyed at little things that my neighbors do. I guess it'll just motivate me to want to go buy a house. Not next year because I have a lot of student loans to pay off, but I ideally would like to buy a house before I'm 30 because I just don't see myself in this environment for very long because my tolerance is just low for people not being considerate of others. I don't really regret my decision because I knew I needed to move and I saved a lot of money living at home for those 6 months. So I have no regrets, but I'm definitely like not as in love with this place as the other place, besides the building amenities, which I knew, you guys know I wanted the building amenities, and I do go to my gym in my building all the time. There's like no excuse not to work out. Do I have any dream hospitals that I want to work in once I graduate? And I got a lot of questions about what specialty, my dream job, what I want to do, and I feel like it has changed so much. You guys kind of know I've always been interested in pediatrics, but my mindset is now completely different. My only focus is trying to work on day shift and trying to be on a floor of cool nurses that I like to work with, that I feel like have my back. You could put me almost anywhere besides labor and delivery. Put me anywhere on days and I'll be happy. We'll see what I get. I'm so curious to see what happens, and I will definitely bring you along for that journey. This question also has to be answered in every single Q&A. Do I have a boyfriend? How do I date while being so busy in school? I'm in grad school and I'm too burnt out. So I'm very proud of myself. I think you guys would be proud of me. I have been putting in the work. I'm going on a date tonight. I have been going on more dates, talking to more people, going on the dating apps. I have just decided that I'm not allowed to complain about the fact that all my friends have these great guys if I too am not putting in the work. But if I'm putting in the work and I still don't have a guy, then I can complain about it. This is your sign to put in some work, and it does take some dedication. Follow up, don't give up, don't put too much pressure on the situation, just have fun. You're young, you're beautiful. Although I have not found the one yet and I do not have a boyfriend, I'm not gonna give up. Do I work while in nursing school? Yes, I am a full-time content creator on here. I've been doing this for almost 8 years, which is wild. I also am a ski coach to 2 different ski teams. Also, I was thinking about this the other day. Pretty much every person I'm friends with in nursing school also is working, and they are in an accelerated program in some capacity. It's not full-time, but in some capacity they are working. So it can be done. What are your summer plans? I don't know. I will be in school still. It'll be my last term of nursing school, so I'm just gonna have fun. Definitely want to like go enjoy being on the boat and being outside. I want to play tennis. In terms of trips, I'm not sure what I will be doing. I think maybe more of like the trips and vacations will be right after I graduate, and Oregon is the best in the summer, so I don't really like leaving. Is Doug gonna make a YouTube channel? Oh my gosh, he kind of wants to. Maybe like in my time off I would help facilitate that. I told him that we would do a tour of his cargo trailer that he's built out, like this little camper van, and put it on my channel. So if you guys want to see that, let me know down below because he's really excited about it. You don't have to watch it, but that may go up on my channel. You are so good at decorating. Would you want to buy your own home soon? Thank you so much. And yes, I would love to buy my own home. Obviously, this is a really hard time to buy your own home, and I have a lot of student loans that I really like to pay off before then. So we'll see what happens. In the most ideal situation, I would buy a home in like 3 years and pay off all or most most of my student loans before then. So we'll see what the housing market is like. You never know. I'm probably gonna start looking for houses a year before I plan on even moving, because it's just gonna take me time to figure out something that I like, and I'd rather be patient and happy with my decision. It would be like a fixer-upper home, nothing fancy, and hopefully Doug and I would do some wonderful things to that home, and it could be a really fun project for us. Yeah, I look forward to that time in my life. But for now, I'm just trying to enjoy being in an apartment where things are mostly taken care of. I knew I was gonna spill some tea. Good thing this is green tea. My foot is so asleep. I literally need to stand up. All right, the blood flow has returned to my distal extremities, so we're doing fine. Sorry for that interruption. This is kind of like the burnout question before, but I just thought of a new way to answer it. How do you finish a semester strong? I want to work, but it's been a long year and I'm tired. This happens to me almost every semester. If you guys want to watch my real like breakdown, I'm gonna link the video somewhere up here of me during finals week, and it was just rough. I feel ya, you're not alone. My biggest piece of advice is to try to start the next semester strong, because you know you're gonna lose steam as you go on. So if you set yourself up well, then you don't have to like do as well on the tests. If you're in grad school and even in college, you don't need to get an A+. Yeah, it feels good, but it doesn't always have to happen. Sometimes you have to know, oh my gosh, I was able to balance X, Y, and Z all while being in school, and I got a B+. It's fine. Really, truly, nobody actually cares about grades. They care a lot more about your resume. So I wouldn't beat yourself up. You're doing the best you can. This is a really good question. How do you deal with post-uni anxiety? I'm done with uni and I don't know what to do. This is like the post-grad crisis that I feel like everyone kind of has to experience. No one really talks about it as much as they should. I feel like nowadays people are starting to. It is totally like a I am lost time in your life. One of the best things that helped me was reading and talking to people about how I was feeling and being really open and transparent about the fact that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that kind of helped me think through my options, and I just was lucky enough to have supportive people in my life that kind of pushed me towards the nursing field in a more organic way, because I was hesitant, because I was at first like, how do I know if this is 100% what I want to do? You just have to realize that there's oftentimes always going to be an aspect of you that's going to doubt that decision. Never going to always have that like 100% in your gut, this is perfect. There's always a part of you that's thinking back to, well, what if this and what if that? Explore as much as you possibly can and do things that make you happy, because for me, coaching was such a good outlet, not only to help surround myself with good people, but it gave me a purpose during that time of unknown of, I don't know if I'm going to get into school, or I don't know what my next year is going to look like if I have to reapply to schools. Looking back to where I was a year ago, I had that exact feeling. I was so lost. I felt so alone. And the one thing that gave me purpose was being a ski coach and having that part of my life be consistent. So if there's any sort of hobby, or if there's anyone you know, like a teacher or an influential person in your life that you can go back to and somehow be a part of that and help them out by like cadet teaching or exploring different career paths or even shadowing, I think it's going to provide that clarity and purpose that you need, where all around you see on Instagram, people are getting into different schools and they're getting jobs and they're moving, and you feel like their lives are moving at 10 miles an hour and yours is not. But there's so much more to that story, and I promise you they experience the exact same stress. You do have time. What is the rush? You have the next 40 years of your life to go work as hard as you can to make the life that you want for yourself. So I feel like in our society there is such a pressure to be like, I must achieve everything by 30. We're so used to being on a path that's so similar to everyone around us. We all are in the same grades, we're taking the same classes, and all of a sudden that's not the case. Everyone's in a different career, everyone's paths look so different. It's impossible to compare. And that's why I think it's so important to like do things that you love that provide you fulfillment, because when you do that, you're gonna just attract good things in the universe, and good things are gonna come your way. You're gonna be a happier person, and it's not gonna matter what Susie's doing over in Texas. You're gonna have your own things to be proud of. Sending you a hug, because I know that post-grad time is really hard. Could I do some cooking videos and easy, healthy recipes? Yes, I need to do that. Someone please remind me to do that, because I have a lot of like cooking video ideas. The problem is my kitchen is so dark. It's like, I hate filming in there. What is your best advice for moving into a new apartment / living on your own? So I love this question. I feel like everyone at some point, if you can, should try to live alone. You learn so much about yourself, and it's been very interesting for me to see how much I've grown. My last apartment was the first time I ever lived on my own. I feel like there was a lot of growth that went on there and times where I was lonely and had to figure things out. And now I don't even think twice about it. My biggest advice is to make sure that you have plans in your schedule so that you can get out of the house, because at least for me, I notice it's super easy just to hole up at home. You realize, oh, time is ticking by and I'm bored, and why am I sad? It's because you need to get out and talk to people. Even if you can't travel to go make plans, make a plan to FaceTime a friend at 6 p.m. or call your mom, or just go for a walk outside. Find a new recipe that you can get yourself excited about. Little things like that will really change your attitude about living alone. Oh, this is a good question to go off of that. Have I noticed any changes in productivity since my recent move? Yes. The move was such a good idea. I am way more productive and I'm so much happier here. I'm on my own time. As much as I love my parents, they can at times be a distraction to me. Is nursing school how I pictured it? I got like a lot of questions about my expectations about nursing school. I'm gonna do a full Q&A with my nursing school friends, more in depth about school, and I want to answer your nitty-gritty questions. But overall, my expectations, it is kind of what I expected. This question from Sydney is something I love and something I don't love about nursing school. I love my professors and I really do enjoy working in some smaller groups, especially because I know more of my classmates and I actually have bonds with my professors, which I couldn't really say that I had at U of O, and that was more of like a personal choice. I just enjoyed like doing my own thing. But now it is nice to like have people watching you and have them give you feedback because they do actually know you and are following along in your journey. Something I don't love, the disorganization of it, because it feels like something that should be so organized and simple. And so when you see like what a mess some things are, you're just like, I don't get it. This program's around for a while. There's a lot of factors contributing to this, especially one being the pandemic, because so much change has had to happen in terms of our clinical experiences. I feel like I've definitely been robbed of the typical like nursing school experience that other people have had. I can't really even relate to that because I've only been in the hospital for a couple days doing CNA skills, and now I'm about to start like my first 12 next week in clinical, and I just feel so unprepared for that because it hasn't been as much of a progression as I'd like, and I haven't been able to see any other specialties. So that's also hard for me to know what I want. There's a lot going on in nursing and in nursing schools, and not enough resources available for anybody. We got a lot of things to figure out. I'm glad that the conversations are starting now because I do feel confident that I'm going into a career full of people who do care about our profession and are willing to make sacrifices so that the change that we need actually is gonna happen. Someone gets shin splints from skiing? I have actually not heard of that. I would guess that your boots are either not properly fitting or you have like chronic shin splints from another activity and you need to go see PT and really work on that. I'm so surprised. I feel like I really have rarely heard of shin splints from skiing because I hear shin bang, like that constant pressure against the tongue of your boot. So are your boots fitting right? And are they tight enough? Are they like so old that there's no cushion? Because maybe it's partially from your shin banging against the tongue of your boot. Comment on this video if you're watching this. I want to help you so you're not in pain while skiing. Okay, I'm gonna just do a couple more. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? One thing about myself. Sometimes I wish I wasn't so hard on myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself because I do have a lot going on, and I feel like a lot of people are watching my moves, and that's such a privilege that I don't take lightly. So I do tend to put like a lot of pressure to perform and show up and be on my A game at all times. And sometimes I just need to realize that it's okay. This is a good question. Maybe I'll end on this question. 3-year goal. What is your goal home like? Do you want to stay single? Do you want to find someone? Where do I see myself in 3 years? I'll be 27, which is wild. I definitely would like to not be single. I would like to be in a relationship. I'm not in a rush by any means to have children. You know, it'd be nice to be in a relationship for a bit before having children. Home-wise, I would love to be starting to look at homes and starting to be close to saving up for where I want to be, like financially in a place to have a down payment ready to buy a house. And I hope I'm still ski coaching, and I hope I'm playing tennis and like being active and doing things that I love. I hope I'm like enjoying nursing. I feel like by then in 3 years, I'll be on like my second nursing job, because your first one, unless I'm like obsessed with it, people usually switch around after a year. I don't know, but I'm curious like where I will be professionally, if I'm gonna work with kids by then, if I'm not. I'm so curious to see. It's so hard for me to predict. I'm just really trying to go with the flow and not plan that far in advance, because the planner in me wants to have it like all laid out, but at the same time I'm like, I just know it's gonna work out, so you just have to trust that in time it will work out, and hopefully that's the case. Oh, okay. Actually, I'm gonna end it on one last question because this question is so sweet. What went well this past week because of you? And this is actually gonna be the question of the day just because I like it so much. If you guys are still watching this point, make sure to answer what went well because of you this past week. Past week was my spring break, and what went well is I definitely made the most out of it. I hung out with good people. I prioritized making that happen and reaching out. I went skiing 3 times last week. I was able to work on my own skills. I got to play tennis twice. Just a lot of things because I made it happen and made plans for myself so that I could have fun even though I wasn't in Cabo. I'm proud of myself for making my own fun and making the best out of my last spring break. So it was a good one. That is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so crazy much. Give this video a thumbs up if you like these chill sit down videos. I feel like I could definitely talk more about certain topics if I had them a little more planned out. And stay tuned for the nursing Q&A video with my friends because we're dying to film that and I think it's gonna be a good one. I will talk to you very soon. Goodbye. Boom.
I only worry that I'm crazy, 'cause if it's at all true, well, it's all true. I mean, you know I ain't lying, 'cause I hate